Have you ever felt like life just keeps throwing punches at you? One moment, you're on top of the world, and the next, you're at rock bottom. If so, the story of Joseph from the Bible is one you need to hear.
It's an epic tale of dreams, betrayal,
An incredible redemption that shows how even our darkest moments can be part of a much bigger, beautiful plan. Joseph was the second youngest of 12 brothers, and let's just say he was his father's favorite.
To show his affection, his father, Jacob, gave him a stunning, multicolored coat.
This special treatment, combined with Joseph's dreams of his family bowing down to him, made his older brothers incredibly jealous. They couldn't stand the sight of him. Their resentment grew so deep that one day, when they saw him coming from a distance, they plotted against him.
They stripped him of his beautiful coat, threw him into a dry well, and then...
Seeing a caravan of traders heading to Egypt, they decided to sell him into slavery for 20 pieces of silver. Can you imagine the betrayal? His own flesh and blood, selling him like an object.
They then took his coat, dipped it in goat's blood, and told their father that a wild animal had killed him. Jacob was heartbroken, mourning for a son he believed was dead. Meanwhile, Joseph arrived in Egypt as a slave. But here's where his story starts to turn.
He was bought by Potiphar, one of Pharaoh's high-ranking officials. And because God was with Joseph, everything he did prospered. He was so successful and trustworthy that Potiphar put him in charge of his entire household. It seemed like things were finally looking up. But trouble found him again.
Potiphar's wife tried to seduce him, and when he righteously refused her advances, she falsely accused him.
Who's like that Joseph was thrown into prison, from head of the household to a common prisoner. It must have felt like another devastating blow.
But even in the darkness of the dungeon, Joseph's character and faith shone brightly.
God was still with him.
Soon, the prison warden noticed his integrity and put him in charge of all the other prisoners.
Again, whatever Joseph did, he succeeded.
While in prison, he met two of Pharaoh's former servants, the chief cupbearer and the chief baker.
Both had strange dreams, and with God's help, Joseph interpreted them.
He told the cupbearer he'd be restored to his position in 3 days, and he told the baker he'd be executed.
Everything happened exactly as Joseph had predicted. He asked the cupbearer to remember him to Pharaoh, but once freed, the cupbearer forgot all about Joseph. For 2 more long years, Joseph waited in prison.
Then Pharaoh himself had 2 disturbing dreams that no one in Egypt could interpret.
That's when the cupbearer finally remembered the young Hebrew man from prison.
Joseph was brought before Pharaoh.
He explained that he couldn't interpret dreams on his own, but God could.
Pharaoh described his dreams of 7 fat cows being eaten by 7 skinny cows.
And 7 healthy heads of grain being devoured by 7 thin heads.
Joseph explained God's message. There would be 7 years of incredible abundance in Egypt, followed by 7 years of devastating famine. He advised Pharaoh to appoint a wise man to collect and store grain during the good years to prepare for the bad. Pharaoh was so impressed with Joseph's wisdom that he said, "Can we find anyone like this man? One in whom is the Spirit of God?" He made Joseph the second most powerful man in all of Egypt, putting him in charge of the entire project.
Joseph was only 30 years old. He went from a favored son to a slave, to a prisoner, and now to the Prime Minister of Egypt.
He managed the food supply perfectly, and when the famine hit, Egypt had more than enough food to feed its people and the surrounding nations.
And who do you think showed up in Egypt, desperate for food?
His 10 older brothers.
They came to buy grain and bowed down before Joseph, not recognizing the powerful Egyptian ruler as the little brother they had sold into slavery decades ago.
Their childhood dream had come true.
Joseph tested them to see if their hearts had changed, and eventually, he revealed his identity.
It's one of the most emotional scenes in the Bible. He wept and told them, "Do not be distressed or angry with yourselves for selling me here, because it was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you." He wasn't bitter. He saw God's hand in everything, even their terrible betrayal.
Joseph brought his entire family, including his father Jacob, to Egypt and provided for them.
The family was reunited and saved from the famine. Joseph's story is a powerful reminder that no matter how difficult our circumstances, there's always hope. It teaches us about forgiveness, perseverance, and trusting that there's a purpose even in our pain. What started with a colorful coat ended with a family and a nation being saved. Thanks for watching. If this story inspired you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible stories. See you next time!